Welcome, race fans, to the historic Daytona International Speedway. And tonight, kind of a special presentation brought to you by the National Online Racing Championship, or NORC for short. This league used to be rather popular over on the NASCAR games on the Xbox 360 console. And now they're on iRacing. They've actually been here for a little while, so that's kind of just a quick preface on the group. But these guys are getting ready for what should actually be a pretty fun race. We're at Daytona International Speedway, like I mentioned, in the NASCAR Cup cars, and this is pretty much just a fun run here at Daytona. There's going to be 10 of these total races only on super speedways, but other than that, there's not even a whole lot of pressure to really go win, so it's pretty much just go out there and have some fun. Gonna throw up one more commercial while these guys qualify. Stay tuned for some great racing.
Red Bull GRCs are now available on iRacing. I personally put my blood, sweat, and tears into this thing, developing the cars, the tracks, the dirt, making sure it is authentic as possible, and I really think you guys are going to love it. The best part is that this 600 horsepower Volkswagen Beetle is free to all members. So get signed up now and come race me online.
And again, welcome everyone to Daytona. So, right here, you've got the qualifying speeds, obviously very close, being that it is a fixed setup race at Daytona. So it's pretty much just pin it around the top side for a lap, then pin it around the bottom side and go fast. And apparently, Josh Robin is going the fastest so far. Josh Robin currently with a 47.87.0. And that is currently your pole time, 186.45 miles an hour in his number 8 Chevrolet SS. So he's obviously got this whole Daytona thing down pretty good. Aaron Smith currently in second place, Femi Olot in third, Milad Radman in fourth, Hunter Combs in fifth, Sean Williams in sixth, Eric Hall in seventh, Spencer Owens in eighth, Joseph Lombard in ninth, and Caden Henry Oakes currently in 10th. Now, the results did just reset because we went into the race, and for some reason, IRTVO kind of likes to be picky, so we'll get that back working for just a moment. And to your starting grid, again, Josh Robin is on the pole here tonight with Aaron Smith to his outside. Femi Olot in third, Milad Radman in fourth. Hunter Combs in fifth in the number 12 car. Sean Williams in the number 89 starts sixth. Eric Hall currently in the fourth spot. Spencer Owens in eighth. Joseph Lombard in ninth. Caden Henry Oakes in 10th. Nathan Lewis will be rolling off tonight from the 11th position with Elijah Drew Garcia to the outside in 12th spot. Cody Miller in 13th. Will Klein in 14th. And in row 8, we've got Anthony Emery, and Yusef Quarles. Further back, we've got Justin Levine and Nick Osipek. Followed by, it looks like Rudy Cummings, Matt Hummel, and Max Newworth. I hope I'm saying that name right. That should finish off your grid here tonight. So again, this is pretty much just a fun race for the NORC group. These guys are going to be turning 40 laps around Daytona International Speedway in the NASCAR Cup cars. For some reason, the ticker's being a little bit picky. We'll get that sorted out as soon as I can. Just bear with me here for a moment, but got a couple of people out in the viewing party. Oh, one second. Let me move that out of the way because that's not going to be fun to look at. This is kind of just an impromptu race. Wasn't really planning on doing this until pretty much last minute. think we're back to working. That we are. Never mind. There we go. Okay, it took a moment. IRTVO pretty much just completely crashed on me, but we're back. So, Josh Robin is rolling off on the pole position in the track system in Chevrolet SF. Ben Smith is outside, and you know, all these guys are pretty capable on super speedways and on more conventional track. So this will be a fun race to watch. Hopefully these guys take it seriously. There's not a whole lot on the line, really. It's just come out here and have some fun. We actually see somebody already missing their entire rear panel and front panel. Again, this is kind of impromptu, not necessarily the most serious race of all. These guys are kind of just out here to have fun. Josh Robin, your pole sitter, will actually go on board with him on the start of this race. As they pace down to the start-finish line. Green flag is in the air, and Josh Robin gets on the loud pedal, gets down to that double yellow line, and he's already off and away, trying to hug that bottom side and keep anyone from getting down to his inside. That's obviously going to be the strategy to go with, at least here on the start. He's already got Femi Olat, though, on his bumper, getting him off and away. Aaron Smith falling back, Milad Radman just behind him. That outside line already not very formed up. The 12 car on the inside, though, I'm not totally familiar with the numbers. That's Hunter Combs in the 12, keeping right with Femi and Josh Robin down on the bottom side. Joseph Lombard trying to keep in this front pack as well, as there's already a bit of a split, and these guys are really spreading out. Now, the Cup cars are pretty hard to actually draft with, to actually draft well with, so we'll probably see these guys get single file before too long and just kind of ride around for the first little while, but once we actually get towards the finish, I know these guys are going to put on a show. Having raced with these guys quite a bit, and just being in their group on Facebook, I know these guys will put on a show towards the end. At least that's one way to put it. So Josh Robin will lead lap 1 of 40, 39 laps to go. Hunter Combs trying to get up to that number 8 car and give him a push. There's not really a whole lot of storylines to go with this race. It's pretty much just a race. So these guys are just out here again to have some fun, see what they can do on the high banks of Daytona International Speedway. And so far, so good, all clean for the start. Josh Robin's still your leader, but Hunter Combs in that all-tail forward on the bottom side trying to get up there and have something to say about it. Femi Olat's going to thread the needle between Joseph Lombard and Hunter Combs and get into that third spot down on the bottom side. That was a great move, honestly, to get down into the bottom line and just settle in. And these guys, again, are really, really accustomed to this kind of racing. They do it all the time just for fun. It's just their thing. A lot of the NORC guys just love doing this. And they actually have an annual event where they race a 500-kilometer race at Daytona, generally Daytona 07 in the NASCAR Cup cars, just for fun. It's called the NORC 500. So these guys definitely like their super speedway racing, and it's showing so far as they get in line and are racing very clean to start this race. So far, so good. Josh Robin, I believe, has led all 4 laps thus far. See a couple of guys trying to form a top line. It's not going to work. They get right back in line, and this is the story of the Cup cars at Daytona and Talladega lately. You just can't do anything with them, unfortunately. It's really hard to actually get a line moving on the top side when you already have one on the bottom side, but they're going to try and do it. Femi Olat bringing Joseph Lombard to the top side. Sean Williams going up there as well. Cody Miller, though, he's going to drop down to the bottom and stay right there on those WL lines and try and work the bottom with Milad Radman right behind him. Nathan Lewis also getting into the mix here in the number 27 car. He's trying to pull up to Cody Miller, and he'll get his nose just underneath that 16 of Milad Radman. Now I'm going to try and pull alongside the Taylor Swift machine of Sean Williams. And again, there's really nothing on the line for these guys aside from bragging rights, so I wouldn't be surprised if they go all out from the start. They got single file at first, but I wouldn't be surprised if they try and run this double file format, I guess, pretty much to the end of the race. I wouldn't be surprised at all. You see the Lombard Gaming Machine up on the top side, the number 82. I know he's a popular guy among the NASCAR community, at least the NASCAR gaming community. Let's go on board with Joseph Lombard. He's already got some front-end damage, and that's going to hurt him quite a bit at a place like Daytona, obviously, where aero is everything. But you can see he's just trying to hang with these guys up in the front until he can get some of that damage repaired under a caution. And hopefully, of course, hopefully he's not that caution, but it's Talladega. Anything can happen. As you see the gyro cam pitch off into the corner, 33 degrees of banking at Daytona International Speedway. And man, the G-forces the actual guys pull around this place are wild. But right now, Joseph Lombard has settled into the 5th position, right behind Josh Robin, actually, as Josh Robin was pulled out of the lead. Now Femi Olat takes over the lead, Cody Miller in 2nd, Hunter Combs in 3rd. As we continue to ride around with Joseph Lombard, again, a very popular guy among the NASCAR gaming community. Awesome to be able to stream a race that he's in, honestly. Maybe that'll get me some view time on YouTube. You never know. You see this about 20-car field is pretty much, again, just single file around the bottom side right now. And that's the thing to expect with the Cup cars here. They don't really work too well in a pack. Whatever NASCAR and iRacing have done to the Cup cars just doesn't really work out, at least on the virtual aspect of things. It doesn't really work out for pack racing. I'd say the trucks are probably the best plate racing cars, I guess, on the sim at this point. I haven't really tried the old Xfinity car in a very long time, and I haven't tried the K&N car in quite a while either, but at least from recent experience, the trucks seem to be the best. So again, Joseph Lombard's sitting pretty in 5th spot right now. Back up to the front, though, just a little ways ahead of the 82. We've got Femi Olat just leading this train. And actually, Hunter Combs to the top side. Josh Robin trying to go with him, trying to make a run at the lead once again. We'll see if Hunter Combs can get up to the lead. They're coming up on a lap car pretty quickly. I'm not sure who that is. Looks like it's the number 3. That's actually Caden Henry Oaks in the 3 car. We'll see if he makes room for these guys to go by easily. And actually, he's going to stay right on the bottom side, so these guys are going to have to fan out and get by him. That was actually pretty sketchy off into turn 3, but I think they'll work it out. Now that he's kind of with the pack, it'll kind of bring him up to speed a little bit, and it shouldn't be so bad to get around him from here, especially because these guys behind him are actually kind of fanned out double wide as it is. You see Nathan Lewis making his way around Caden Henry Oaks now, and battle up front still going on. Cody Miller trying to fend off the 12 car of Hunter Combs and the 8 car of Josh Robin, and just pretty much just push Femi Olat around this place for now. Further back in the field, though, there's Matt Hummel pretty much just sitting behind these guys, kind of watching. We'll actually go on board with him, and you can kind of see the picture ahead of him right now as actually a car gets up. I think he might have hit the wall. I think that's Nathan Lewis that got way high in turn 3, and Joseph Lombard quickly disposed of him. Aaron Smith going to follow suit. Actually, I think Aaron Smith might let him in. He is going to let him in line up on the top side as Joseph Lombard moves back down to the bottom side. And Matt Hummel right now is in the catbird seat. He can see everything that's going on. And when there's a wreck, he'll be able to avoid it the easiest, although he's actually going to get to the inside of Aaron Smith right there. Aaron Smith pinched him. He's actually going to get in line ahead of Matt Hummel. That was a pretty good move from Aaron Smith, albeit aggressive for 11 laps in. And actually further up, there's a battle going on. They're back to double wide. Hunter Combs and Cody Miller went out to the top side for just a moment. They'll easily be disposed of. So now Josh Robin pulls up to the back end of Femi Olat, and he'll try and work this bottom side with Femi. And I feel like Femi is one of those guys that he's going to work 2 different lines if he has to keep Josh Robin behind him. I'd say, in my personal opinion, Josh Robin is one of the better plate racers out here. He just doesn't catch a lot of breaks. I know he did just win his first SRA race, I think this past weekend at Talladega in the trucks. So it's kind of fitting that he would come out here and run up front so far in this just fun run for the NORC Super Speedway Series, I believe as it's now being called. Milad Radman gets shuffled out to the top side. He'll be hung out to dry in the number 16. And actually, Josh Robin, Femio Lot to the top side. I'm not sure what strategy that is, but Caden Henry Oaks, rather, going to go just right around these guys. And he's a lap down, so he's going to bring Nick Osipek through. Nick Osipek would be the first of those drivers that's actually battling for a position. Sean Williams also trying to follow suit. And the caution falls on the Speedway. I believe that may have been Spencer Owens. And it was, actually. It was way in the back. It was Spencer Owens and I believe Nathan Lewis. So this is right around where Matt Hummel was, and I was saying he was in the catbird seat as far as missing a wreck, and it looks like the wreck was right in front of him. Again, Caden Henry Oaks, that 5 car, the Xfinity machine. Actually, someone blows up ahead of him. I think that was Joseph Lombard that blew a motor right in front of him, and there was just nowhere for those guys to go. We'll get one more replay on this. So yeah, Joseph Lombard loses a motor right in front of a couple of cars, and that's going to take Spencer Owens and Nathan Lewis out of the running. We'll watch this one more time. This time we're going to watch the 82 car. Again, that's Joseph Lombard. He ends up losing a motor through turns 1 and 2. You can watch the puff of smoke come out from that car, and we saw the damage, and that actually explains why he was falling back. We saw the damage to his car early on the front end, and that just ended up overheating the motor. You see the motor let go finally right in front of Elijah Garcia, and there's just nowhere for those guys to go. Matt Hummel gets a piece of damage as well as Aaron Smith. But really, Joseph Lombard in the worst position right there as he loses the motor, and I think that'll be his night. I don't think these guys have any resets or fast fixes or fast repairs, however you want to refer to them. So I think Joseph Lombard is done for the night. And we're going to bring up a certain Anthony Emery real quick to kind of explain exactly what this race is. So let's drag him in here. Anthony Emery, this is Andrew Cardinelli in the PSI TV booth. Do you have a copy?
Yeah, what's going on, Andrew?
Well, I wanted to bring you up pre-race, but didn't get a chance to. So if you could just explain to the viewers exactly what this race is and what we can expect from the next 9 races, should I be able to broadcast any more of those, that'd be great.
Yeah, so we want another series to be kind of like an encore to the main NORC iRacing series. And so we came up with this. It's a Super Speedway series. This is not just a fixed at Daytona or a fixed at Talladega either. It's 10 races of different cars and different tracks. So we're going to go to Daytona 07, Daytona 2011 like we are today, Talladega, Monza, and the C trucks, the B cars, the A cars, the Nationals. I think we're even doing a race with the Cadillacs. So yeah, it's going to be 10 races. The first 7 races of the season, it's regular season, and you get 1 drop week. So if you miss a race or whatever, you get that kind of free pass. In the final 3 races, there's going to be 5 drivers, and the best 5 drivers over the regular season will be that final 5 that compete for a championship in those last 3 races. So yeah, it's going to be really exciting, I think, and I think as long as hopefully you do more races, I think the people watching are going to really enjoy it.
Well, hopefully I can do at least a couple of more. We'll see what happens as the schedule gets filled up for PSI TV, but got to thank you and NORC for having me up here at least for tonight. Unfortunately, it looks like the most popular guy out there, Joseph Lombard, already done for the night. Might bring him up for an interview, but thanks for that quick explanation, Anthony. I'll let you get back to, I believe, admin duties for the night.
Yes, sir. Unfortunately, I wasn't able to race, but we'll see what happens next week.
Sounds good, man. Have a good one.
You too.
And again, that was Anthony Emery kind of spearheading this whole operation for this Super Speedway series. And again, you see Joseph Lombard here, unfortunately, not able to make it back to his pit stall. He's actually, looks like 3 pit stalls shy, unfortunately. So he's done for the night. And I think he's trying to get a push from Cody Miller, but he's not going to be able to get that. iRacing basically makes the cars pretty much like transparent, if you will, when they're in a pit stall. So if he was still in the pit lane, I think he could have gotten a push. But unfortunately, the California driver is done for the night, so we might drag him up here for a quick interview. Joseph Lombard, this is Andrew Cardinale in the PSI TV booth. Do you have a copy?
I do.
Well, Joe, unfortunately, it looks like your night's done already. Saw you trying to get a push in the pits. What exactly happened there at the start to give you that damage?
For whatever reason, Eric Hall in front of me thought the inside lane was going, coming off pit road. He just gassed it right in the back of Hunter, and then he slammed on the brakes in front of me. I had no time to check up, so I ran in the back of him, and then the engine just blew. I mean, I knew my engine, I knew my oil temp was going high, so kind of sucks. But yeah, when it blew up, I was just trying to make it back into the pits. I was just strolling down pit road, just cruising. And then I was just a couple pit boxes short, just couldn't make it there, but it was the effort that counts, I'll say that.
Yeah, well, you certainly did a pretty good job until that motor started to let go. Hopefully we see you in some more races in the 10-race season I believe we're going to have. So best of luck to you in those ones. And yeah, just figured I'd bring you up real quick before the night's over.
Yeah, 10-4.
All right, have a good one.
Yep.
And again, that was Joseph Lombard from N2SC4R. Again, I believe probably the most popular of all the guys in here. I think Sean Williams might be second place on that list. Yeah, John Barry, didn't even know this was broadcasted. Anthony kind of set it up for me to broadcast this, so I'll take it. It's fun to be able to broadcast the NORC race finally. Not exactly as many viewers as normal, but that's to be expected for just a random impromptu race like this. Anyways, Nick Osipek, your leader, I believe, has chosen the outside line for the restart. In the number 41, CarQuest Auto Parts Chevrolet, Sean Williams to his inside, Josh Robin in third, and it looks like Femi Olot possibly in fourth. Yeah, Femi Olot in fourth. As we wait for the cars to pace around to the start-finish line and go back green, they'll have 23 laps to go out of 40. Pace car makes the hard left turn into pit lane. You hear the motors fire up, and they're off and away through the tri-oval back to green flag racing. 23 laps to go at Daytona International Speedway. Hear and see the field roll by. As they fire up through the gears, you see it looks like Nick Osipek's going to bring Femi Olot right in front of Sean Williams. Actually, Sean Williams almost let Femi Olot get back out to the outside. Josh Robin falls back with these guys a little bit, but that's going to open up the opportunity for him to pull a really good move on these guys so he can work the draft right to get a pretty good slingshot off of them. Further back of Josh Robin, you got the 16, Malad Radman, I think. I don't know how to say his first name quite frankly. Elijah Garcia on his bumper. Will Klein behind him. And again, I expect these guys to single file out for a few laps, kind of find their footing, get back into a run, and then start racing double file. And actually, it looks like Femi and Malad are already going to prove me wrong there. Will Klein also going to roll to the top side, try and work with the 16 and 11. Josh Robin, Elijah Garcia opt to stay on the bottom side. So far, Nick Osipek, Sean Williams pulling away with a pretty good lead for a plate track. at least in the Cup cars. Josh Robin might move up in front of Femi. Looks like he will. So Josh Robin out of Minnesota trying to play with the air, trying to play with the lines. Moves up at least for a second. Going to stay in front of Femi as Elijah Garcia pulls a run on the bottom side, trying to get his nose underneath Robin to keep him from coming back down, and he will. And we're going to crank it up for a couple of laps here as these guys are going real fast around this speedway. So just stay tuned for some, hopefully some thrilling action. Loud sounds. That's Daytona. And we're going to crank it down now as we watch from the nose cam on the 16 of Milad Radman as he follows Elijah Garcia right now around the speedway, currently in the 4th position. You see these guys getting up to speeds of excess of 200 miles an hour. Albeit only by a couple of numbers. They get up over 200 miles an hour, and they're not the easiest cars to handle sometimes when you get hit from behind in the corners. So, actually, Milad Radman goes around, and that's going to be a caution as he collects Cody Miller. I think that was possibly Hunter Combs who hooked him down the back straightaway, but kind of fitting that we were watching him and we switched back to a TV camera rather than the nose camera, because pretty much as soon as we did that, he ends up getting hooked around down the back straightaway, and that's going to be his night completely over with. We'll see if we can possibly talk with him. We'll get a quick replay here down the back straightaway. Again, watch this 16 car as these guys were rolling around. Actually, I think it was Josh Robin who may have ended up collecting Radman's right rear. And actually, I totally forgot to mention earlier when I was talking about how popular Joseph and Sean are. Milad owns Real Radman, the YouTube channel. So if you're into NASCAR YouTube channels, he may be a familiar name to you. Yeah, Josh Robin just trying to pull up to his right rear, and I think just ended up bumper hooking him. Nothing intentional, considering looks like Josh Robin was actually trying to pull back in behind Radman rather than trying to get up to his outside. So I think that was just a complete accident on Josh Robbins' part. We'll watch that from his onboard camera this time. You see, he gets the run out of turn 2, and he's thinking about trying to go with it to the outside. Malad comes up, blocks him just a little bit, then he tries to actually get behind him and ends up hooking him. I guarantee you that wasn't intentional, but unfortunately it does end up ending Radman's night in the number 16 car. So as these guys pace around, I'm not sure if anyone's going to opt for the pits or not. I would assume not, actually. Unless they have damage, I wouldn't expect very many drivers in the pit lane. You can see Radman in the pits. If I can find a camera angle that shows him. Anyways, Sean Williams, Mr. Taylor Swift, currently in the lead after that caution. Elijah Garcia in second spot, Josh Robin in third, Femi Olot in fourth. Caden Henry Oaks, I believe, by virtue of the Lucky Dog last caution, is now up into the fifth position, with Hunter Combs in sixth, Cody Miller in seventh, Matt Hummel in eighth. Rudy Cummings now from Max Speed TV has moved all the way up to the ninth position in the number 29. So good to see him coming out here and starting to get a show going for him. Rudy Cummings and Max Speed TV usually broadcast the NORC events, but this is kind of a special thing for me since Rudy wanted to race this, and we'll probably race some more races with these guys, I would assume, in their Super Speedway series, as I believe they're calling it. A little further back, Nathan Lewis has moved his way back into the top 10, albeit with a pretty bent-up race car in the Guinness machine. Will Klein currently in 11th. Nick Osipek, I believe, pitted on that caution, fell back to 12th with Aaron Smith in 13th. Eric Hall currently in 15th. I believe he's a couple of laps down. Yeah, he's 8 laps down with a lot of damage to the nose and rear of his car. And I believe he was the one that Joseph Lombard was pointing to as causing the incident before the race even went green that ended up ultimately in the termination of Lombard's motor in front of some cars there, and unfortunately took some other cars out with him. I believe that may have ended Spencer Owens' night. So real quick, before these guys go back green, we're going to have a quick commercial break. Stay tuned for about 10 more laps of just high-banked, high-speed action from Daytona.
Red Bull GRCs are now available on iRacing. I personally put my blood, sweat, and tears into this thing, developing the cars, the tracks, the dirt, making sure it is authentic as possible, and I really think you guys are going to love it. The best part is that this 600 horsepower Volkswagen Beetle is free to all members. So get signed up now and come race me online.
And as we come back from that quick commercial break, make sure to go to iRacing.com to get more info on what you're seeing here. This is run on the popular and very realistic motorsport simulator iRacing.com. You can find, again, more info at iRacing.com. You can find all the hardware requirements and information on signing up at their website. One more time, that's iRacing.com. Now, as these guys pace around turns 3 and 4, one more time before going green, Sean Williams, your current leader, will be restarting from the bottom side right in front of Josh Robin, probably one of the strongest plate racers in the field, so he's got to feel pretty decent about that. As these guys pace down the long but short chute up to the start-finish line. It feels like forever when you're pacing around here, but these guys are back green. Sean Williams already has a pretty decent lead over Josh Robin and Elijah Garcia on the top side. Looks like Caden Henry Oaks falls into the third place on the inside. Did not mean to switch to either of those cameras. It's my bad. Complete misclick. Now Elijah Garcia going to fall in behind Josh Robin as these guys get up to speed. Cody Miller trying to work that top side with Nick Osipek behind him. Looks like Themiolot behind Osipek. Actually, Elijah Garcia and Caden Henry Oaks work the top side now. Hunter Combs going to fall in behind Josh Robin on the bottom side now. Cody Miller gaining steam. Rudy Cummings making it 3 wide in the back. Tell you what, Rudy is here to play with these guys, and he wants to win. We'll go on board with the man. Considering he usually just broadcasts these races, I wasn't expecting to see him going 3 wide in the John Deere number 29, but he's going to fall back now. Looks like he's got some fender damage all along that front end of that Chevrolet, unfortunately. Looks like he may not be able to get the momentum going to go up there and catch. Actually, he gets turned. Aaron Smith turns Rudy Cummings down the back straightaway. I don't know if that's going to be his night necessarily, but that's certainly a lot of damage to the left side of the number 29. And he already had a ton of damage to the front end. A very similar situation to what just happened with Malad Radman a couple laps ago. Go back and get a replay here. Aaron Smith was pushing Rudy Cummings and just, yeah, you can see it right there, ends up hooking him. Totally unintentional. We'll watch here as Rudy was coming through the tri-oval. We'll watch all the way to the back straightaway where, again, watch for the same thing that happened a few laps ago between Josh Robin and Malad Radman, where it's certainly nothing intentional, but the car pushing the other car just ends up totally hooking them on the right rear. You'll see that here from the 70 to the 29. Aaron Smith ends up completely hooking Rudy Cummings, and it's certainly not intentional, but it's something to be aware of with these cars. I think it happens mostly with the Cup cars versus any other car that races on plate tracks. So, it's just one of those things with iRacing that you have to be really, really careful of, and even in real life racing, we have to be pretty careful of getting to somebody's bumper, making contact, and then turning either left or right. It's just something you got to be wary of, and right there you saw Aaron Smith give him a bit of a tap, a little off center. I think that's what ended up kind of causing the wreck, if you will. Ends up getting the 29 sideways, then tries to bump him again as the 29 is unsettled, and that just ended up sending Rudy Cummings right around. Unfortunately, the Max Speed TV broadcaster definitely going to be set back in trying to win this one. And yeah, as Jared said out in the chat, really unfortunate to see that happen to Rudy Cummings of all guys. Anyways, back up to the front. There's only 9 laps to go, and some of those laps will be taken up under this caution, obviously. So I think we're going to restart with about 6 to go. So with that, we're going to have one more commercial break. Let me catch my breath as I'm still a little bit under the weather, and then we'll be right back.
Simulated racing can be awesome, but it can also be kind of a free-for-all. Interestingly, auto racing faced the same problem in its earlier days. Whether it was on the back roads, the beaches, or the city streets, the racing was fun. But there was always a certain level of chaos and danger, until some folks came along and put some order to all of this. Stuff like official racetracks, regulations about weight and equipment, and enforcement of standards. That's what gave us high-speed excitement, fast-paced action, and photo finishes. That's when racing became racing. The guys over at iRacing.com have made the same transformation in the world of sim racing. Sure, they've got the most accurate tracks and realistic cars out there, but that's just the start. See, iRacing analyzes the performance and results of each driver in every race, so you can be sure you're always placed in races where the competition will be tight, and that those reckless drivers who ruin it for us all are kept in the pits. Not to mention that with over 45,000 active members already in their vast community, you can find races day and night, so you can always get in on the action. You can even join a league of your favorite series. And since updates are always automatic, you don't have to worry about software and can focus on the track. Zip up your fire suit and check out iRacing.com.
Good talking to you.
I'm surrounded by activists.
Welcome back from that quick commercial break. These guys are getting ready to go green in just under a lap now. They just took the 1 to green signal from the flagman. Pace car lights are off, and again, Sean Williams will be your leader on this restart. This time, though, Josh Robin will be restarting on the outside of Sean Williams rather than behind him, so Sean will have to work with Hunter Combs on this restart. Elijah Garcia, mired up on the top side. And the top side is not exactly the place to be on these restarts, but they'll have to make it work. Cody Miller going to be stuck in 5th place for this restart, with Caden Henry Oakes in 6th. Nick Osipek in 7th. Femi Olot in 8th. Aaron Smith in 9th. And Matt Hummel rounding out your top 10 for this what should be the final restart with about 6 laps to go. Hopefully these guys go green at least from here for a couple laps before any caution comes out. Hopefully there are no cautions. And unfortunately, 2 of the 3 big, I guess, NASCAR YouTube personalities have already been taken out. Malad Radman and Joseph Lombard of Real Radman and N2SC4R respectively have already been taken out, unfortunately. Not exactly by their own doing at all. So, unfortunately, they're done for the night, but we still got Sean Williams rolling out around this place, and I know he's famous pretty much for his crash compilations, and I'm sure he'll have some new entries for his videos from tonight alone. So as he gets ready to restart the race in first position. These guys have 6 laps to go. The best of the NORC guys on plate tracks. Well, minus Jared Darling anyway. Get going, and Josh Robin already kind of lagging back from the 89 as Hunter Combs trying to get right up to the back end of Sean Williams. And now the top side is getting rolling. Josh Robin with the help of Elijah Garcia actually making that top side work. We haven't seen that really all night until this restart right here. Caden Henry Oaks in the number 3 car trying to push those guys up alongside of Hunter Combs and Sean Williams. Cody Miller trying to help the bottom side out right now. Sean Williams still with the lead off into turn 3. Josh Robbins still in a drag race with that number 89. And I imagine the last few laps of this race are going to be exactly like this. Dead heat. 2x2 action up in the front until somebody can make something happen. I think they're just going to be locked like this in a draw. 5 laps to go at Daytona. Josh Robin with a slight edge through turn 1, and Sean Williams going to bring it back through turn 2. Nick Osipek trying to get in this battle. He's currently in the 7th spot, leading Femi back into it. Will Klein behind him. Josh Robbins still on the top side with help from Elijah Garcia. You see the 14 bobble a little bit off into 3. Hunter Combs in 3rd, trying to push the 89 to a lead. Cody Miller now trying to work on the bottom side as well. Oh, the 3 comes down a bit. Gets into the 15 of Cody Miller. They keep it straight. Josh Robin led that lap. He was able to edge out Sean Williams by about a half a car. Now he's got about a car length lead over Sean Williams as they're going to draw a huge lead on the top side off into turns 1 and 2. But these guys are holding right where they are. Josh Robin staying on the top. Sean Williams still on the bottom, and he's getting a huge run out of turn 2. Hunter Combs behind to help. Josh Robin now down on the bottom side. Sean Williams gives him a push into turn 3, coming to 3 laps to go this time. Is Sean going to go high? He is, but I think he might bring it back down low. 3 wide now out of turn 4. Josh Robin going to drop down to the bottom. Has Hunter Combs helping him. Elijah Garcia going to get hung out on the top side. Cody Miller, Sean Williams make contact. They'll keep it going 4 wide off into turn 1. Contact, and they're going to wreck it. And they're wrecking in the back. Will this draw a caution? No, actually, yes, there's the caution. Couple of Dale Earnhardt paint schemes got together, and that's going to seal the deal for Josh Robin off in the front. Actually, they might be racing to the checkered flag. We'll see what these guys are doing. They may just be racing it out. I think they're going to race it out, so don't mind the yellow flag notation up on top of your screen. Caden Henry Oaks making moves on the bottom. He gets into the 12 of Hunter Combs. I just blanked for a moment. He's going to go for a spin. Josh Robin now pulling a lead over Hunter Combs. Hunter Combs going to draw back up to him, and they may have just been racing back to the line. Yeah, 'cause these guys are letting off. I think they may have just been racing back to the line. I'm not sure what they're doing. Unfortunately, I can't really talk with race control. So yeah, I think they just raced back to the line, so Josh Robin will be your winner from Daytona. Wow! I don't even know what happened. All I know is a couple of the Earnhardt paint schemes got together. That was Femi Olot and Caden. So we'll go back and watch. These guys are packed up through the tri-oval. And at one point, they end up going 4 wide when Cody Miller gets into the 89 of Sean Williams. They're 4 wide. 2 Dale Earnhardt paint schemes in the middle. They get together, and that's going to shoot Elijah Garcia up into the fence. And Cody Miller, Femi Olot get into it behind him. Matt Hummel gets involved. Aaron Smith, nowhere to go. But Will Klein drove through it. And I think from there, they raced it out. We'll watch this again, this time in slow-mo. Actually, not yet. What am I doing? Now you see here, the 15 and 89 make contact. That's what creates the 4-wide situation off into turn 1, and I couldn't believe it right here. They're 4 wide, and you see, I think Caden was trying to make room for Elijah, and sorry for the camera shaking, but these guys just start wrecking after that. It's hard to drive 4 wide at Daytona. It's easier to do at Talladega, but Daytona's not so easy to do it with. And you see the chaos ensue. So I want to go back and look at exactly how Josh Robin was actually able to hold Sean Williams off. I'll actually get a better view of this. Because Brendan Yeah, Brennan Buzak out in the chat mentioned how Sean almost nailed that move to get by, or to get back by the 8 of Josh Robin and get back to the lead. You see Josh Robin make the move to the bottom side there, get right in front of Sean Williams. Sean gives him a hit off into turn 3, trying to get him up ahead of him so he can make a move. And he does here. He goes to the top side, and we'll actually slow-mo this if I can. He makes the move to the top side in front of Elijah Garcia, and then when that gets Elijah just shot up to the top side, it slows him down as well. Hunter Combs gets to the bottom. Hunter Combs draws alongside of him. That's what locks it up for Josh Robin, and that's why Josh Robin ultimately just goes right back to the lead, and he's able to hold that lead down for the rest of pretty much a lap until they raced it back to the caution, and eventually ended the race. So Josh Robin will be your winner here tonight. We'll see if we can get an interview with at least Josh post-race. Looks like Caden Henry Oaks will be in second, with Hunter Combs in third, Sean Williams in fourth, and Nick Osipek brings it home in the fifth position. But Josh Robin, your winner from Daytona tonight in the Traxxas machine. I'm assuming chaos is going to ensue, so we're going to hang with this camera angle for a moment. And yeah, that's happening behind them. And this right here should be fun to watch. Josh Robin going to burn him down at Daytona. Pretty much just a fun race, but still nice to get that win ahead of some of these guys at a place like Daytona where literally anyone can win. I got to quickly thank my sponsors at PSI TV. That's going to be iRacing, Drivers World, The Hub, Sim Racing Giveaways, TN Designs, Pit Stop Insider, Oliver Mobile, Fleet Repair, Scott Brotherton Images, obviously the leagues we broadcast, the NMNTS Racing Series, the All-Star Sim Racing Series, the iRacing Weekend Warriors Group, Race Agent, the Race Agent Dirt Racing Challenge Series, and more. Got to thank all of you for supporting PSI TV. As we watch Josh Robin burn him down here at Daytona. Anthony actually asked me if I'm going to interview them. Of course I am, Emery. Alright, so we're going to have to try and get a hold of... I forget who third place was. Alright, so we're going to bring up Caden Henry Oaks first. Caden, this is Andrew in the booth. Do you have a copy?
Yep.
Well, Caden, you certainly gave it a fighting chance there after ending up a lap down, I'm not sure how, off at the start. So how'd you try and beat Josh there at the end?
Just forcing my way through everybody, dooring everyone, trying my best to, if I can't win them, wreck them. Just try to win, basically.
Well, when it comes to NORC at a plate track, I think that's a pretty good mentality to have when it doesn't really mean a whole lot. So, saw you definitely try and go 3 wide or 4 wide there for a moment with Femi and Cody and I think Elijah on the top side. So, that was fun to watch off into turn 1.
Yeah, I was looking at the replay, and I think that Sean might have doored him. That's what it looked like, and Cody came up a little bit, and that just really messed everything up. And I had the 14 up there. I didn't know how much room he was off the wall or if he was like up against it. So I tried to give room both ways, and it didn't work out.
All right. Well, is there anyone you want to thank before I move back up?
Anthony and Hunter for putting this like side league on, because it's not really anything too serious. It's just fun, and you for putting on the broadcast. I'm gonna have to go back and look at it, because I bet it's pretty fun to watch and entertaining for the viewers.
It was definitely that, I'll tell you what. All right, well, you have a good night, man. I'll move you back up to the main room and team speak.
Thank you.
And again, that was Caden Henry Oakes from the number 3 car tonight. Now we're going to bring in Josh Robin in the number 8, your winner tonight, out of Minnesota. Josh Robin, you got a copy?
Yeah, I do.
Well, Josh, you know, I said it at the top of the show. I felt like you were probably one of the best guys here, at least on a plate track. You know, being a big Dale Jr. fan, something's got to translate, right? So,
Oh yeah.
anyway, you did pretty good in that number 8 Traxxas machine, put it on pole, and just stayed up front all night long. You made a pretty good move, actually, a really good move to get by Sean Williams and keep it from him there out of turn 4. You guys were 3 wide behind him, and it almost looked like they were all just going to wad it up, but you held it out in front of him. Just how'd you do it?
I was doing a lot of mirror driving those last 3 laps whenever I got that lead, and I was just blocking whenever the runs came from whatever line it was from. I just went up and blocked, and I think it was with 2 to go off turn 2. Or wait, no, maybe the last lap when Hunter, he got to my inside, but then Sean had that run on the outside, went up and blocked that run. Then that gave me the launch back in front of Hunter and just held him up behind me.
Well, Josh, you certainly did a pretty good job. I think you farmed a good amount of taters tonight to win that one, and looked like maybe you were chasing some naders. You know I had to get that in somewhere. So,
Oh yeah, for sure.
you know I had to try and get that in somewhere. So anyways, good job up there on the win tonight. Anyone you want to thank?
For sure. You for broadcasting this race, and then Anthony Emery for hosting this league. It should be a fun league here, just like a fun little league, you know, quick, short races, all restricted plate racing. So I always enjoy a lot of plate racing, but yeah, and then everybody else that raced here showed up to race, and your fans or viewers that were watching. So shout out to them. That's it.
Sounds good, man. We'll let you get back up to the main room there. Good run tonight.
All right, thank you.
And again, that was Josh Robin. Oh, and I think Emery pulled up the NORC account. Left a nice little comment. Gotta appreciate that. So we'll go through the results here before we shut it down for the night. Josh Robin will be your winner out of Minnesota in the number 8 Traxxas machine. Hunter Combs comes home in second place with Sean Williams in third. Nick Osipek in the 4th position. Elijah Garcia brings it home in 5th with Will Klein in 6th. Femi Olot in 7th. Matt Hummel in 8th. Rudy Cummings in 9th. And to round out your top 10 will be the 27 of Nathan Lewis. In the 11th position, we'll have Cody Miller in the number 15. Caden Henry Oakes in 12th. Aaron Smith in 13th. Eric Hall in 14th. Malad Radman in 15th. Joseph Lombard in 16th. Spencer Owens in 17th. Max in 18th. And I think that's going to actually conclude the field. Yeah, looks like that'll be the field. So I got to thank everyone for tuning in for this kind of impromptu and just fun run here tonight in the NORC group at Daytona. It was a lot of fun being able to broadcast the NORC race for once. Definitely enjoyed it. So, yeah, thanks to everyone for your never-ending support in PSI TV. We'll see you next time. I believe we'll have... I think our next broadcast will actually be Friday night from... Actually, no, we don't have a Friday night race this week, so look out possibly on Saturday night. I think will be the first time we have a race. We'll have to check the schedule, but either way, give the Facebook page a like. Definitely follow along for more broadcasts, and stay tuned for more.